And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at worker placement. Yes, that's the actual name of the game. This is a game about a temp agency, and you're trying to get workers placed in jobs that will give them, give you money and thumbs up, and people think highly of your skills. All right. It is actually a worker placement game. That's the kind of game where you put workers on the board. It's supposed to be a play on words. Anyway, let's take a look at it. Here's the board, and on the board there's two tracks. There's a thumbs up track, and then there's a money track. The money track is what players are going to be trying to win on. Each player has a unique marker for each track. You'll see that one's a dollar sign and one's a thumb sign. These are really cool, although they're a real pain in the neck to stack if you ever have things on the same spaces. Now the goal of this game, the way to get money, is by fulfilling jobs up here. You'll notice here that there's different jobs. We have an airplane, repo man, a bounty hunter. Over here we have a virtual gold farmer, a water slide tester, and a motivational assistant. And more of these jobs will become available. To do each of the jobs, you're going to need different skills. So for example, to do the virtual gold farmer, you need 2 red cubes, which are clerical skills, and 2 black cubes, which are 2 tech skills. Over here, the bounty hunter, you need 2 technical, 1 clerical, and 1 life skill. The airplane repo man, all the way over here, also needs labor skills. Now, players are going to be taking turns, and each turn of the game, and by the way, you can measure the length of the game here. You can play a short game, also known as the length you should play at, or a standard game, also known as very long, or you can play a long game, also known as insanity. All right? When you play these games, the first thing that happens each turn is players are going to be dealt one of these cards. These cards here show 3, 4, 5, 1, and 2. That's going to determine turn order, but they say plus thumbs. So they will add your thumbs. So the higher you get your thumbs, the more you can go first on a turn. Now you still might not go first, depending on what everybody else does. After that, players are going to draw some of these cards here, and they're going to look at the cards. They're going to keep one, pass 2 to the left. That person's going to keep 1, and then the thirds are put down here. Over here, once there are some cards that are face up here, and if there's more than 3 players, some are put on top of each other, then players are going to bid for the chance to take these cards. Starting with whoever's first, and turn order is over here. Players are going to put one of their workers, each player has 3 workers on turn order. Players will bid, or you don't have to bid, and whoever bids the farthest to the left will pay that much money and take the card of their choice. And then second bid and third bid. Then players are going to take actions on their turn. Players are going to, in turn order, players are going to put a worker on a board, then the next person in turn order, and you keep going around. The third time you go around, you'll take your worker off your order track and put that on the board. Many of the spots on the board give you different things. So for example, the trade school gives you a labor skill. Career consultant lets you play a action card from your hand. Health spa gives you 2 thumbs, but you have to, here this gives you a green cube, a black cube, a red cube, and down here you can convert 1 cube to 2 cubes of your choice. If you're the first person to go to one of these spots, it's free. If you're the second person to go there, even if it's your own, you have to pay $1 for all the other folks who are there. So if there are 3 meeples there already, you would have to pay $3. You can also go to the call center, which is where you go when there's nothing else to do, and you can lose a thumb and trade and get 2 money. Or you can go to the casino to discard one of your cards and draw a new one. Or you can fill a job. These spots here, multiple meeples can go there, and they don't have to pay extra things. Now, the cards that you have in your hand are going to be used to fill a job. Many of the cards in your hand are going to be workers. So if I play Kay Ann, for example, she provides me with a clerical and a tech skill. Sari LaSalle has tech and life skills. Ed Quantum Grimsby gives me a tech skill, and he also will give me an extra thumb if I complete the job. Dolores gives me a green skill and a wild skill of my choice. Now those skills aren't enough to do a job, so to them I can add cubes that I've collected, and so players will have a variety of cubes that they'll have as the game goes by. Or if I have cards in my hand that are cubes, they are basically the same thing as a cube, except they're a card. In fact, you can even use 2 people to complete a job, but if you do that, you need to put 2 of the little meeples on the job center rather than just 1. That's essentially how the game will work. Whoever has the most money at the end of the game will win. You'll notice that jobs have payouts in money and cards. There's other ways to get things, mostly by playing these skill cards. Here, each opponent discards a skill card. For each opponent that cannot or does not, you gain $2. All your opponents lose 2 thumbs. Steal $2 from 2 opponents or $4 from 1. Here, just gain $5. So after that, you kind of rinse and repeat, do the same thing each turn. At the end, whoever has the most money is the winner. Okay, well, first of all, we have the box for this game was a little under quality. Mine got a little crushed just from moving the box around and such. The rest of the components are fine. There are the cubes and the meeples and the stuff and the board, and I like the artwork, although I wish they would have put maybe some different artwork on the cards. All the skill artwork looks the same. So there's that. Then the game itself. Are you trying to jump it to the camera? All right, anyhow, the game itself is a game which you're trying to gather resources and then use those resources to get points. If you've played Lords of Waterdeep from Wizards of the Coast, this is very similar to that game, except this one is a lot more basic. This game has a few flaws. First of all, I already mentioned when I was going over the turn length, it's really, we do the same thing over and over again, again and again, again and again, again and again, and again and again, and after 8 turns you want to kill someone because that turn was no different than the previous turns. You don't build on each turn. Each new turn is just more of the same. So there's that repetition. You got to play the short game or else I think you'll go crazy. Secondly, there's really no build-up at all. Almost every job needs 4 cubes. For that, you almost always need 1 person, a cube, and a card. And cards are often easier to get than cubes. Why? They're handed to you. Cubes aren't so hard to get either. In fact, nothing is really hard to get in this game, and it never is this satisfying, boom, I got a job. All the cards, all the jobs have the same, they're all very similar in how much points they give you and how much they need. So 3, 4, or 5 cubes. So there's not like a 10 cube job which you work hard, you get your skills, and you can go do that job and get more points or try to do a bunch of little ones. Everyone has the same strategy. Just grab jobs while they're available. There's only so many jobs available each turn anyway, so the guy who goes before you grabs them, and then you kind of just sit there for the rest of the turn and get cubes, so maybe next turn you can fill a job. So really, you've really been trying to get in this video the whole time, huh? Okay, well anyhow, so getting these jobs is just, it's kind of boring. Yeah, there's funny text on there, ha ha ha, motivational assistant, a virtual game farmer, shift lasts 12 to 18 hours, and you can laugh at how bad the jobs are, but the game itself doesn't make the job difference that big of a deal. Then, the action cards are insanely imbalanced. You saw there was one that gave you $5. A job. This is the best job you can get. This card I'm showing here gives you $6 and 2 thumbs, but I had to get 5 green cubes to do it. The other one, I just had to play a card. And then there's cards you can steal, $4 from 1 person. What? That's a difference of 2 jobs. The cards are immensely overpowered, and all that put together makes this a very, very light worker placement game. A very light worker placement game. Without very much strategy or skill at all. You kind of just go on autopilot. I want to do that job, I will get that cube, I will do this. Lords of Waterdeep, even though it has a fantasy theme, is a much better version of this game. I really wasn't a big fan of this. It's just too light for me, too much rinse and repeat, and the action cards were insanely imbalanced. I think some people will like the game, and some of the folks I did play with said, yeah, that was kind of fun, but nobody was raving about it. No one thought it was that big of a deal, which is a shame because this theme even this game itself. I would take this game and work with this and add in different kinds of jobs and add in better balance cards and add in maybe some variety so that turn to turn matters more, and you would have a really good game on your hands. Needed more development, worker placement.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
Do.